Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, gives the most harsh motivation you will ever find. What if everything you've told yourself about why you can't do well is a lie? What if the reasons you have clung to, your fears, doubts, and excuses, are nothing more than self-imposed roadblocks that you have the power to demolish? His knowledge does not provide consolation or saccharide pep. No, his words go right to the heart of every excuse you have employed to explain your passiveness. Aurelius' theory does not let you off the hook. You are not allowed to hide behind your fears, your doubts, or your procrastination. Instead, he encourages you to look at the truth, that you have the capability within you to transcend your limits. Though his communication is steadfast, it is also the means to unleash one's potential. Ready for the unvarnished reality that could revolutionize everything, no motivation except your will, and no justifications except those you decide to let go of. The road ahead is obvious, but it needs bravery to travel it. The ball is in your court. Will you see the reality or keep believing the lies? The unpleasant circumstances of living life doesn't give a hoot for your ifs. It doesn't stop for your difficulties or wait on the ideal moment. Marcus Aurelius really realized this fact. He saw that misery and hardship are not elective but unavoidable. Not the exception, but the rule is the difficulties of life. Hardships will come upon every individual, no matter their situation or status. The issue is not whether they will show, but rather our reaction. Aurelius did not run from this truth. He grasped that pain is part of life's fabric. One can't get around it, one can't run from it. Rather, the power is in our response. Not just our current condition, but also our future depends on how we decide to face hardship. Will we fold under their weight when adversity strikes, or will we remain strong, rooted in our mission and discipline? Stoic philosophy allows neither avoidance nor self-pity. Complaints and justifications only serve to make us hapless. Aurelius instructed us to welcome difficulty, since it is not an impediment, but rather a chance to develop wisdom, fortitude, and self-control. Every difficulty is a chance to build our character and honors virtue. While life will challenge us, our future is defined by how we meet those challenges. The only real failure is to quit. Otherwise, facing the fight headfirst is appropriate. The uselessness of grumbling, complaining had no place, according to Marcus Aurelius. He realized that every minute spent lamenting is a minute lost, a minute that might have been more wisely spent on development, reflection, or activity. Complaining is to feed off negativity, to concentrate on what is wrong instead of what is achievable. The more one dwells on the issue, the more the solution goes unnoticed. To the Stoics, complaining is useless. It only deteriorates the mind and obscures clear thinking. The external conditions stay the same. Aurelius held that a wise man does not consume energy bemoaning what cannot be changed. They rather emphasize what may be accomplished now to solve the problem. Change is brought by action, not by complaints. To blame external situations is a type of self-sabotage. Blame others or society, and we shift the accountability from us. We let ourselves think that we are without power and that the globe causes our problems. Still, this opinion is self-destructing. It keeps us in a cycle of powerlessness by stopping us from owning our decisions and behavior. The Stoic view is that we run our behavior, our emotions, and our actions. Beyond our sphere of influence is everything else, great by definition, not deserving of our mental effort. Aurelius counseled us to search inside and inquire rather than complain. What might I do now? By concentrating on answers, we break free from the constraints of irritation and place ourselves in control of our own lives. Complaining only wrecks weakness, but action moves us nearer to excellence. Accepting responsibility rather than blaming others. A great proponent of extreme accountability was Marcus Aurelius. He thought that true freedom is only possible when one fully owns one's life, which is also vital for personal development. Aurelius changed this attitude by stressing that only by means of responsibility can we get charge of our own future in a society that sometimes urges us to lay blame on external situations or others for our issues. Blaming others or outside events for our challenges makes us give up our power. We lose our powers of adaptation, change, and growth. We convince ourselves that outside forces decide our success or happiness, but when we do so, we encase ourselves in a state of futility. By taking on this victimhood mindset, we relinquish our only means of transforming our own life, our personal agency. Blaming others or outside events for our challenges makes us give up our power. We lose our powers of adaptation, change, and growth. We convince ourselves that outside forces decide our success or happiness, but when we do so, we encase ourselves in a state of futility. By taking on this victimhood mindset, we relinquish our only means of transforming our own life, our personal agency. Aurelius knew life is full of difficulties, and it is simple to get stuck in thinking others or situations are cause of our suffering. He did advise us, though, to turn our attention from what others do or what the world does to us, and instead look inside. What can I personally do for this? He would query. This little change in attitude helps us to take charge of our reactions, deeds, and finally, our fate. Embracing responsibility entails acknowledging that we have the ability to alter our fate, notwithstanding outside circumstances. It means facing life head-on with integrity and courage, changing from a victim mentality to one of extreme responsibility helps us to recover our power and future. We can only really form our lives and discover serenity in the midst of adversity via accountability. The price of procrastination is false hopes. Success silently die from delay and procrastinate. Disguised as benign routines, they sneak into our life. But over time, they degrade our development, take our time, and leave us only regret. Marcus Aurelius saw the damaging influence of doing nothing. He did not waste time waiting for the right moment or for perfect conditions. Aurelius had no need of waiting for everything to connect. With the greatest intent, he understood that time was the only resource we may never recover, and used it. Every second we spend procrastinating is a second perished forever. Many times the perfect conditions we hope for never materialize. Waiting for perfection is giving up chance, since life is not perfect. Aurelius behaved when the need arose without regard to his emotions or the surroundings. He did not allow himself the luxury of waiting. Duty and intent, not brief bursts of inspiration, propelled him. Unless a form of self-doubt, procrastination is not just a postponement. Every reason you supply to postpone action is a means of doubting your own competence. It tells you that you are not ready, unworthy, and that today is not the time. Still, these are just falsehoods we use to escape uncertainty and pain. Truly, every reason keeps us merely from achieving our potential. Aurelius shows us that inactivity devalues not just time, but also development, growth, and personal fulfillment. Successful people follow the way of constant activity, even when there is ambiguity. Time perishes for none. Neither you should withdrawals helps. The Stoic mastery via activity. The fundamental idea of Aurelius's philosophy was action over reflection. Even when unsure, he supported progress. Waiting for perfect situations or clarity was a trap for him. Rather, he welcomed progress little by little and cautiously realizing that every small deed contributed to the momentum. Every time we act, we free ourselves from the bonds of fear and doubt. As we postpone further, our skepticism grows more fixed. Once we start, however, the way forward becomes more obvious. According to Aurelius, mastery is attained not only by contemplation, but by continuous, deliberate behavior. Counter any justifications with quick little actions. Do something, anything, that helps you to achieve your goal if fear of failure interferes with your progress. The Stoic attitude is one of persistence rather than perfection. Even if not perfect, action will always outstrip unending thought. Neither should you make excuses. Marcus Aurelius didn't leave room for them. The Stoic ruler realized that the only thing keeping you from your potential is the choice to act. Your former mistakes, regrets, and apprehensions are not obstacles. Rather, they are just stories you tell yourself to justify not acting. Actually, the only real impediment is the choice to stay in place. Assume accountability, quit whining. Even when it seems unpleasant, welcome activity. Every minute you spend in indecision is one lost. You have totally within you the ability to transform your life, advance, and fulfill your objectives. Aurelius said we should be in charge rather than waiting for things to change. You change yourself, therefore changing them. Time to follow the Stoic path if you're weary of restraining yourself. Release the justifications, welcome discipline, and dedicate yourself to the road. Subscribe for more knowledge to dismantle your alibis and assist you to produce long-lasting change. You would need to act now if transformation were to be achieved.